degrees when the women set off at 7:15 this morning. The current temperature in London from the BBC website is 11 degrees and a 100% possibility of rain. So it looks like the rain has eased off a little bit on our camera shots there, but the forecast is for relentless rain, unfortunately, for the duration of this men's race.
But at least it is a tiny bit warmer. And I could be reading too much into this, but I thought I just detected another tiny little motion from Kipchoge's right arm, as if to say to the pacemakers, come on guys, we do need to pick this up just a fraction. On a lighter note, it would be amazing if we could get a camera on this. We can't, but we should give them a mention. I touched earlier the fact that we've all been starved of world-class distance running, and we knew that there were a lot of broadcasters around the world taking the coverage. Apparently, in Eldoret, our coverage is going out on a big screen. I don't know whether you've ever travelled to Eldoret, Mara. I have on numerous occasions. It's a fantastic gateway lights with so many great performances over nearly 2 decades. So thanks to former world cross country silver medalist Tim Hutchings for that update that somebody from Eldoret has sent him a text message and he has sent me one. So we're delighted that this coverage is going out live in Kenya. And what an incredible ambassador Kipchoge is, not only for himself and his family, but for his country and his continent.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's the most amazing role model. You know, he talks about inspiring here that during the women's race that Hong Kong, Taiwan, the USA and the UK have the biggest numbers. In Kenya, it's 11.
I wonder where they are. We should get cameras on them. The
maybe
Kenyan media should get out and cover them.
Yeah, of course, the virtual mass race runners are running in London Marathon bibs front and back, making sure they do the distance and timing themselves on the London Marathon app. So while you're out and about today, if you see any London Marathon runners, do give them a cheer. So this is the group aiming for Olympic qualification. We spoke earlier during the women's race that the qualification suspension due to COVID was lifted by World Athletics. It was due to finish on the 30th of November, but it has been lifted for the road events to reflect the fact that the marathon runners only get a couple of 2 or 3 attempts a year really at racing, the lack of competition opportunities, and also the fact that in Doha the conditions were really unconducive to running qualification times. So brilliant that these athletes have this opportunity. Ben Connor there, the tall athlete in the New Balance kit. Connor ran a PB over the half marathon at the Antrim half on the 12th of September. Mo has, but he's aiming for the track. And the third Brit is Callum Hawkins, who is pre-selected. So several other Brits in this British National Marathon Challenge.
Now, by the way, you've got until about 5 o'clock this forthcoming Friday, so no excuses. Come on, sign up and get out there and breathe in some fresh air. But I really like the concept of a straight race. I might like the fact that you go first too, and you've got an option with the third. From a British point of view, they've already pre-selected Callum Hawkins, but
they decide how they are going to pick their team. So in the USA, you have a straight trial, first 3 past the post. In the UK, traditionally the London Marathon has been the trial race, but it's always, to my knowledge, been 1 or 2 athletes, the first or second British athletes across the line in the qualification time, and then a second or third place, sort of a discretionary. And we have had pre-selections. In other countries, it's different. In other countries, they don't have a trial. I spoke to Gerda Stein, the South African, who just missed the national record in the women's race earlier this week. She said they're selecting on times. Athletes can qualify for the Olympics by accumulating points in the world ranking system, and also by finishing in the top 10 in a world marathon major, or top 5, I believe it was, in the World Championships. However, those 2 methods of qualifying remain suspended. So athletes trying to qualify today have to run to 11:30. Set up a 26.2 mile race yourself and say, okay, I've qualified. It has to be done officially. So Mo Farah, their multiple track champion, looking pretty relaxed, pacing this Olympic qualification group, and Barrios, the Mexican there, looking very comfortable.
Yes, you mentioned him earlier. He's run inside 2:11 and he should be feeling relatively fresh from here. Johnny Mellor's in that group, ran that low 2:10s. Very, very good performance. So he already has the luxury of knowing he's got the qualification time. There he is, just entering the edge of frame, just on the very right of picture there. Connor just grabbing a drink. The times are very, very important to the men in this group.
Ben Connor ran the 5,000 metres at the Doha World Championships last year, and only 27 years old, so we're expecting great things from him in the years to come. Chris Thompson, who we saw right at the start, with at the back of that group, but with a small gap.
Or sit next to, rather, in a commentary box. Right, let's get a take on the split. So 59.37 at 20k. Yeah, so it's not up at 2:06. So we're probably what, maybe 2:04s, 2:05s, and you might expect Mara.
Yeah, I mean, the way he's been asking the pacemakers to go quicker, we think that's what he's been doing. I think we could see a faster second half for sure. He looks very relaxed. We were talking earlier about Kipchoge inspiring the next generation and people around the world, and the London Marathon every year holds a Mo Farah as a previous winner of the mini marathon, David Weir in the wheelchair race as well. Previously, as they donate every year to good causes, and this year they donated £2 million to Transport for London to help Transport for London's walking and cycling initiatives, which have been part of the pandemic and getting people more active.
So it is almost out at 2:06 pace. Kipchoge will want to push things on here in the second half.
But they are getting drinks every lap, and it's 2.15k per lap, so it won't be long before he gets obsessed about hydration during a marathon. But it's worth remembering that you can dehydrate. Just checking on the Olympic qualification group, the halfway split.
Of turning into a really intriguing race. It's not necessarily panning out as we may have expected it to on paper, and are able to watch and enjoy the coverage, which is brilliant to hear. So if you are somewhere in Kenya, we're really glad.
I mean, it's a bit unusual to see an elite men's race without Kipchoge at the front, but
looks composed at the front. Kipchumba with that beautiful long economic stride in second place. Kipchoge.
And I'm just wondering if Kipchoge is happy to let others do the hard work at the front and just stay in that group and just preserve his energy a little bit longer. It doesn't look from the trees too windy, but that is the forecast.
I know, it's funny, you know, we're understandably showing respect to the other athletes here, and we're saying maybe we've got a great race on our hands, and you know, such is his brilliance, he, by his own high standards, he might just break out into a sprint, and 47, it's another steady, solid mile.
So changing of the guard at
5 or 6 years younger in an eyeballs out burst to the line. But if Kipchoge ends up running something like 2:06 or 2:07, for somebody who has made 2:02 and 2:03 and 2:04 his metronomic norm, there must be a problem for him today. There must surely, there must be an injury, there must be in advance of the race to preempt an excuse. There's something not quite working for Kipchoge today, and we might find out after the race.
I don't know about an injury. I mean, he didn't say anything about an injury. He's appeared to be perfectly comfortable. I don't see how he can make up that group now.
No, and this means, sorry, Mara, this now means what a massive opportunity. Chris Thompson coming up there to be lapped. He's having a tough day alongside Darry Griffiths. But what an opportunity for one of these young men in this group now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking all about Kipchoge being beat, but you know these guys at the front, they've really taken the race to him. Still 5. Johnny Mellor already with the qualification time, but both of them looking very strong in these final stages.
They'll be unaware of the drama unfolding up ahead. Kipchumba can fly the flag for Kenya. This great rivalry unfolding once again between two beautiful, proud nations separated by the vast, breathtaking Rift Valley. Lemma and Geremu and Kitata for Ethiopia, with Kipchumba, the biggest of them all, from Kenya. Who has got the sprint finish and who has got the belief? Maybe, Mara, if you had to pick a favourite at the moment, Geremu has got a fantastic turn of speed. We see some fantastic distance races in India every year, and Geremu ran 59.11 in the brilliant Delhi half marathon way back in 2014. It's an indication that he's got good speed in his legs. He was just outside the top 10 in the 10,000 metres 5 years ago in Beijing, and he's been right on the leader's shoulders all the way through. He would love to upgrade his second place finish from last year to glory and #1 this year.
To me, I think Wasihoon is the figure we just saw, having just got dropped from that group. Yeah, I think that is Wasihoon just gone through the camera there.
Sorry, Mara.
This reminds me of Daniel Wanjiru winning back in 2016, I think it was. Relative unknown, came from behind, dawdling a bit, and nobody wants to take it on. It's down to you to do it, and good on Kitata for doing it, but this is very hard to call. They all look comfortable. Looked like he was in danger of being dropped, and now he comes surging through. I think we're going to have a sprint finish.
And look, perhaps I maybe thought that Geremu might be able to draw on the fast finish he produced in Delhi a few years ago, but Geremu's suddenly the man who struggled. So he who would be king hasn't taken advantage of Iliud Kipchoge's sudden inexplicable loss of form. Geremu, the man looking over his shoulder. So it was 3 Ethiopians against a Kenyan. Now it's 2. Kitata, a very, very tired figure up ahead. There are casualties all around this 2.25 kilometre course. Lemma, Kitata, Kipchumba. Kipchumba is the slowest on paper of the 3, but he looks up for the fight here, and he's got a huge size advantage. And maybe Lemma, that's the second time in these little groups that Lemma has allowed a little gap to fall. 2:03.36, finishing 3rd in Berlin last year. Kitata might fancy the job here. He's been the one to inject the pace. Geremu's definitely gone. He's going to have to work hard to hang on for 4th place. So who is going to have the sprint finish here? It's Kitata, it's Lemma, it's Kipchumba. Will it be an Ethiopian or a Kenyan on top of the podium? If it's a Kenyan, it's not the one we were expecting. It's not going to be Iliud Kipchoge's day. It's a 3-way battle for the line. Kipchumba's trying to pull away from Kitata, using those long legs, but Kitata's not finished. What a race, what a finish. It's Kenya against Ethiopia. The scalp of Iliud Kipchoge lies in wait for one of these men. And it's Shura Kitata. The time is an irrelevance, but what a win and what a way to do it. Kipchumba 2nd, Cisse Lemma 3rd. What a race. Real heart there from Kitata. When the taller figure from Kenya went past him, you thought it was a definitive strike, but the tiny Ethiopian was not to be beaten. 2nd 2 years ago. It's all gold today for Kitata. On an afternoon where we've seen Iliud Kipchoge dethroned in the most spectacular fashion. We're still waiting for the Olympic champion and the world record holder to cross the line. Good run from Kipchumba, it really was, for second place, building on that momentum he displayed in Amsterdam last year.